Vash the Stampede is a complex character. At the beginning of Trigun, we know nothing about him, his past, or the planet Gunsmoke. We're dropped into a complete mystery, a lonely tundra of heat with nothing but small towns reminiscent of an era long gone. Folk around these parts seem to be brought right out of the Wild West, yet there's plenty of futuristic tech to let us know that we're not in Kansas anymore. The currency is in double dollars. The towns are named after Gregorian calendar months. Guns abound. Whiskey pours like rain, and the sheriff and mayor keep the peace. These are the future people of Earth, people from a time beyond our own, but they've regressed to an earlier social state on a planet not their own. While the setting is taken in instantaneously, our main character Vash takes much longer to fully unravel, so much so that we don't actually get his whole story until over halfway through the series. In the beginning, all we know of Vash is that he's a goofy, lanky guy in a red trench coat that can't say no to donuts. Basically, Ryan, if he had any style to speak of, but by the end we feel something. Is it camaraderie, empathy, understanding? Whatever it is, it's visceral. It hits you deep, makes you care, it creates a lasting and intimate connection between you and your vessel into the world of Trigun. At least it did for me. Vash's life story hit me in more than just a I can see myself in his shoes kind of way. A well-written character allows you to put yourself in their shoes, to feel the path that they walk, but an exceptional character takes time to understand. They build an ongoing and ever-changing relationship with the audience throughout the show. They don't simply allow you to see yourself in their shoes, but instead they blur the line between their shoes and your own. It feels like they relate to you more than you relate to them. Vash was one of the first characters to ever give me that feeling. A chilling spine tingle that went beyond understanding and settled deeply in a brotherly bond. Trigun is one of my favorite classical animes, and it all starts with this one man in his iconic red trench coat. Hey, what's going on guys? Mike here. If you haven't seen Trigun yet, your life is incomplete, so you should probably go do that. It's one of those shows that really stands the test of time, and it's a space western, so gotta love that. Basically, anything that gives me Han Solo vibes except for the Han Solo movie itself, I'm gonna be into. However, regardless of your personal taste, Trigun and its focal point, Vash the Stampede, speaks to its audience on a universal level. It's something that can truly be enjoyed by anyone, and it still looks good for its age. Anyway, before I gush my guts out, let's roll that intro. The first scene of Trigun opens on a saloon in the middle of nowhere. Two men playing cards around a nearby table discuss the $60 billion double-dollar bounty on Vash the Stampede's head. They speak of his past horrific transgressions, and as the two men gossip, a man cloaked in a bright red coat sips a drink at the corner until bounty hunters blow the entire saloon sky high. Bullets unbiasedly tear apart everything inside, and as the smoke clears, the metal saloon sign that fell from its perch is pushed over, revealing Vash the Stampede completely unscathed. Silently, Vash stands up, points his massive pistol at the group of bounty hunters, and the scene ends. We're steeped in this feeling of danger and uncertainty. Vash is a monster, a destroyer of towns, a killer. He has no prejudice whether he kills man, woman, or child. Someone so evil and dangerous, the government bounty on him is beyond comprehension. No words are given from this spiky-haired man of death. He looks and feels impressive, untouchable, and dangerous right from this opening scene. His image would remain that way if not for Meryl and Millie, two Bernadelli Insurance Society employees. Meryl specifically is Vash's foil. It's through her questions and desire for a better understanding of Vash that we begin to learn more about him. After the girl's introduction, we return to Vash, who completely 180s into a goof. He's drawing pictures with bullets and crawling around like a cockroach to avoid enemy fire. The best way I've seen Vash described is crouching moron, hidden badass. His antics are hilarious, but he knows his way around a gun. After a quick battle, Vash reveals a deep weakness.
Actually, I can't stand blood. Just the very sight of it makes me feel a little faint.
This is backed up by his consistent need to say he's a hunter of love and peace. The first episode is a masterpiece in writing and direction, engaging from the start but leaving many questions to be answered in the future. It also gives a glimpse into Vash's paradoxical nature. He's funny, kind-hearted, and can't stand violence, yet he's being hunted for destroying entire towns and is likely the best gunslinger on the planet. This doesn't add up. How could someone like Vash destroy an entire town? Someone who can't even handle a little blood. He has two sides to himself. He has two faces, two types of expressions, similar to One Punch Man's Saitama, a serious one and a goofy one. They're completely distinct from the other, shifting the tone of each scene with ease. Trigun continually puts Vash in increasingly dangerous and life-threatening situations. However, he perseveres unimpeded by every obstacle in front of him while never sacrificing the lives of others, including those who are trying to kill him for his bounty or otherwise. His moral code, to never sacrifice life, is the rope he's bound by. He's willing to go to great lengths to not break that code. Vash gets hurt, blood spills from his figure, scars and injuries uncounted are revealed whenever he removes his shirt, quite literally exposing himself, and each one marked upon him is a token reminder that the decision to never kill comes with a price. Hell, he's even missing an entire hand that's been replaced by an intricately concealed machine gun. These past injuries were obtained while working to, ironically, not kill his attackers. It would seem that Vash has a hero complex, a need to help others even if they don't ask for it, and he does so without ending a single life. He's kind of like Space Cowboy Batman with a voice that doesn't sound like his balls are so big that they're dragging on the floor.
Oh, that's an amazing coincidence!
And this respect for life, or fear of taking it, becomes his most prominent character trait. However, we aren't given the motives for this masochism until over halfway through the series. Episode 17 is that turning point. It is by far the most revealing episode in the series, and it completely throws Vash's traumatic past into the limelight, as well as his brother Knives. In Rem Savarem, we learn everything we need to understand about what makes Vash tick. Vash and Knives are kids on a spaceship, part of the Seed Project. Earth had become uninhabitable due to human greed, our natural desire for destruction, and this ship was a last-ditch effort to save humankind. The people of Earth had sealed themselves in freezer tubes while a small crew manned the ships in an attempt to find a new habitable planet. Vash and Knives spend most of their days with the crew, specifically a young woman named Rem, who plays with them and teaches them. At one point, the brothers and Rem are watching a butterfly struggling to escape a spider's web. Vash is being careful to release the captive gently when Knives suddenly crushes the spider in his bare hands, explaining,
"That was the easiest way to stop him."
However, Vash is appalled. He didn't want to kill either of the creatures. He wanted to save them both. Now, to Knives, saving the butterfly is essentially the same as killing the spider. You can't logically save both. Helping all butterflies means the death of all spiders. Rem interjects, asserting her role as the mother figure, and she wisely explains to Knives that it's not right to make the choice so easily. The butterfly and the spider are both living creatures, predator and prey, both have a right to life. Knives is unfazed. To him, saving both will always be a naive contradiction. In anger for his lack of empathy, Vash attacks his brother. The two aren't able to comprehend each other's thinking, which is step one in creating an enemy and starting a war. This idea of whether or not we can choose who lives and dies is pushed to an ultimatum during a latter event on the ship. A deranged crewman has Knives at gunpoint and is accusing the boy of being responsible for the death of the person the crewman just shot. Rem comes between the two, staking her life on her next words. No one has the right to take the life of another. You don't want to kill him. Yet the onlooking captain opens the airlock and sucks out the gunman to save Rem. This situation highlights both Vash and Knives' thinking. Vash taking after Rem, Knives more in line with the captain. Unfortunately, the captain's actions stood as proof that killing can protect, and this is a lesson an angry young man took to heart. Knives sabotages the ship in an attempt to crash it into the planet they're orbiting. In one action, dooming all of mankind yet again while simultaneously letting Vash and himself live. It's a cold and calculated move. Emotion has no part in his plan. Logically, humans would act like a virus on this planet just like they did on Earth and end up destroying it and each other once again. But the brothers would be safe because they aren't humans. The two are in fact hyper-intelligent interdimensional plants used as a source of power and energy. It's a little trippy, but they are basically living tools for humanity. Their original purpose was to power whatever planet the ships would land on. However, Vash and Knives are sentient as well as independent, whereas most of the other plants obviously aren't. It's why they can live outside of special light bulb reminiscent containers that are typically required for plants to survive. Ironic how the two mirror our relationship relationship with plants. So many heal, and so many hurt, but all are necessary for life to continue in our habitat. In an attempt to resolve Knives' actions, Rem corrects the course of the failing ships, allowing their downward thrusters to extend and saving the humans frozen aboard. However, this comes at the cost of her life. Breathing color into her final unspoken philosophy, your life is the only life you may choose to sacrifice because it is yours. Rem's incineration was the igniting spark for eternal flames of philosophical war between Vash and Knives. The agony etched on Vash's body reflects that of his mind. Losing his mother figure because of his brother's actions was bad enough, but the trials that came after were also excruciating, particularly the destruction of July City, an event which happened 100 years after the ship landed on Gunsmoke. One does not simply receive a $60 billion double-dollar bounty on his head for nothing. The destruction happens during a flashback. Vash still isn't in control of the intense power that his gun is able to unleash from his body. In a showdown with Knives, he unintentionally wiped out the entire town, ending not just one life, but many. Precious lives, irreplaceable lives. The man, ravished by the anguish of his own actions, is who we find in a red trench coat in a dusty saloon in episode 1. His uncontrollable outburst, in complete conflict with his morals and his entire existence, is bound to atoning for his sin. Vowing on Rem's memory to never kill anyone ever again, his catchphrase cry of love and peace tainted by his past. His traumatic experiences of his youth mixed with his destruction of July are the motives which fuel him forward. However, it can't last. Unfortunately, Trigun is not about solving issues with non-violence. It's touched upon thematically, but the introduction of Knives' minion Legato ensures that we know what the real message is. Legato is a villain hired by Knives to make Vash's life a living hell. He's a sadistic nihilist who is determined to destroy humanity, including himself. Now, for the record, his character has a far greater emotional range and is even sympathetic in the manga, but we're going to stick to the anime's adaptation of him for this show. So Legato and the lesser villains under his command, known as the Gung-Ho Guns, are intent on putting Vash in life or death situations in order to force him to kill in self-preservation. Their entire purpose is to push Vash to break his moral code or, kill him, whatever works. That's what Knives wants, to completely break Vash, to bury that last light of sympathy. Vash is able to consistently get out of the pair's schemes without killing until Legato finally confronts him face to face. In episode 24, ominously titled Sin, Vash is finally backed into the ultimate corner, one where Millie and Meryl's death are assured unless he ends Legato's life. At this point, Meryl's feelings for Vash are extremely clear, expounding upon the severity of the situation. Legato wants Vash to break his moral code. He wants the stain of never-ending pain on Vash's mind. And with no other option and the words of his friends and mother figure running through his mind, Vash breaks that code and shoots Legato in order to save Meryl and Millie's lives. He stands there afterwards with tears in his eyes, and the moment is so true. It's the moment when we realize that ideals are nothing more than hopes. In the end, it's all just smoke and mirrors. Vash's journey is one of sorrow and excruciating philosophical paradoxes. He's haunted by a horrific childhood and past weakness, mistakes which defined the rest of his life. Because of the destruction of July, misfortune follows him everywhere. His bounty is a constant reminder of the things he's done wrong. He can't stay in a single place for too long, or people will find out who he is, resulting in them either running away screaming or trying to kill him for the bounty. However, it's not surprising that he also has a goofy nature. People trying to escape their own reality often do. He's running from his past and attempting to live a normal life without confronting the issues that plague him. Vash continually seeks two simple things, love and peace, and yet those are the two things he cannot obtain. Not while his dark history lingers in his head and on his reputation. His moral code is a reminder of his motherhood figure Rem, but in a very real way, Knives was always right. You can't always save everyone. And that's what Vash finally had to come to terms with in Sin. His story feels tangible because of the emotional pull over hope, desire, and reality. We all wish for the best, believe that things will work out, and we've all been crushed by reality reminding us that we are fools. So many of us have made transgressions in our lives that seem to continually follow us wherever we go. Lost figures of safety learn that you can't make everyone happy. It's the same thing as saying you can't save everyone, and that's the final weight placed on Vash. The sins of our past, if unconfronted, continue to pile up until we break. Vash breaks after killing Legato. The arc of Trigun is a story we all experience within ourselves. It's not always about life and death, but the themes remain the same. You can't make everyone happy all the time. The longer you run from your past, the worse things will get. We all have to break our moral code at some point in life if we wish to survive. Sometimes you need to relinquish control for the sake of others you hold dear. We're too hard on ourselves for the blunders we regret or the things we can't change. But we can learn from Vash because he's able to pick himself up and realize that mistakes are a part of life. That is what the series finale is. Vash fixing his first tragic mistake to atone for all his others. Confronting his past, owning up to what happened, and ensuring that it can't happen again by taking care of Knives. He doesn't kill his brother, but he makes sure that Knives can't continue destroying humanity. In that way, he can atone for what happened earlier in his life. Vash realizes that while it's important to have a moral code, you also have to make your own choices to protect that which you hold dear. Hence the symbolism in the dropping of his red trench coat, reminiscent of the color of Rem's favorite flower. Vash is finally moving on, shedding the crutch of his maternal longing and realizing his full potential as an individual, allowing himself to be as human as a plant monster could possibly be, and letting his mistakes guide him to a higher, more meaningful life instead of cowering at the immensity of what he'd done. That is the final motif of Trigun. Grow from your mistakes. The guilt means you care, but your path to redemption will never unfold if you stew in self-hatred. Learn from it, don't stagnate within it. Understand that the ideals you hold are simply a guiding light. Sometimes they have to bend, sometimes they have to break, because nothing is ever black and white, and there's simply nothing more human than that. If you guys haven't seen Trigun yet, believe me, we have not ruined it for you. I still know the plot, and I go back and watch it from time to time. And with that being said, it is time to spread some love to our ultimate lucky patron of the week, Elizabeth Malky. Liz is awesome. She always takes part in our viewing parties. We really appreciate it. It's always better when she's there. Thank you, Liz, so much. Congratulations on your win. And if you would like to be our lucky patron of the week, get entered into that contest, join our private Discord, or just get some extra content for your downtime, all it costs is $1, just $1. If you guys like this video and you haven't yet, I definitely recommend checking out our response to Gigguk and Mother's Basement on classic anime. It is one of my favorites. And while you're at it, why don't you go check out last week's video we did on Dragon Ball. It's a very special one. We're super proud of it, so we hope that you go and watch it. It's also our first collab on the channel, so it's a little bit of a historical point there as well. Don't forget to follow us on social media at bonsai_pop, Instagram and Twitter for news updates, awesome pictures, the dankest memes, you know the drill. Anyway, we will be back next week with a brand new story you never knew, one that I am personally very excited for. My name is Mike, thank you for watching Bonsai Pop, and we will see you next week. Bye.